Charlotte, and I've said this before, Charlotte is destined to be the sports entertainment capital of the Carolinas. It's in the center of the Carolinas. It's untapped territory. We're starting to move that way, and I don't know if we've opened it up or if people have been by there. When you see even the bubble and the thought where we have it and how that's set up for the dual purpose it can serve and where it is. If we want to take a long-range plan to start thinking about this stuff, if it's 7 years, 8 years out, 9 years out, we have to start talking about it, thinking about it, and you guys can say, hey guys, how great you want the Carolinas to be, and in this case, if it's in North Carolina, it's Final Four basketball. Do you want to have that or not? Why the heck? I'm going to say it again. How the heck? I'll use heck. Can you not have a Final Four in North Carolina when Indianapolis has one all the frickin' time? It's ridiculous.
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Right now!
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 sports podcast. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with my good friend William Wilson, North Carolina military veteran, Hall of Famer.
And I am, indeed.
And now here you're on WCCB's The Rising Show. You're on the panel now.
Yeah, well, I'm a contributor. So
You're a contributor?
I'm not there all the time, but
You're
be on
busy
there from time to time.
You don't have,
I got bills, man.
Derek James, our good friend.
Yeah, so I'm out there, you got to expand the brand wherever you can. Expand always and always.
That's entertainment. Entertainment. Derek, you, and David Tepper talking about entertainment. Talking about, here's Charlotte, North Carolina, the focal point, the crossroads of the Carolinas.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to be let Charlotte be more of an entertainment type district.
As
you were there.
As it should be, yeah. I mean, and it should be. He made some really great points. The amount
Lots
of
of
people
them.
that are here. Where it's located, the centrality of it. A major hub airport that's right there, so getting in and out, there's no reason Charlotte shouldn't be a top 10, top 15 city.
You travel the nation. You go play in a lot of golf tournaments. You do a lot of business nationally and internationally. Mm-hmm. Hotels are plentiful here with NASCAR.
Yep.
And you go around. What do you hear nationally about Charlotte and potentially this being a bigger city than it already is?
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't talk as much about that as far as the expansion as a whole. Sometimes you hear people that come in that they're always like, man, I love Charlotte, man. Charlotte's a great city. I love it. The people are so nice, this, that, and the other. Now, we went through a hiccup, so they're still kind of rebounding, North Carolina as a whole, behind the whole HB2 thing and everything. So
right.
There's some rebounding coming back from that.
Are we on the lead lap yet on that?
Yeah, we're on the lead lap.
Right.
People, so much other craziness has happened politically since then that people have kind of moved to a point. But there's still some people that remember that in certain communities. But I think as a whole, man, Charlotte has a great reputation. It's known as a business city. They're doing things the right way. So I'm just really, really impressed with listen to David Tepper talk.
What a forward-thinking guy. I mean, this guy knows business. They didn't get to be a billionaire without knowing business.
Right. I mean, well, he made a lot of the stocks.
That's business. I call that business.
Yeah, but it's definitely, you don't become the richest owner in the NFL by being stupid. And by not thinking ahead.
So there's no hope for me.
Well, not really. But
all right.
We're never worried about that in the first place.
All right. I like talking about the Dome Stadium. The Dome Stadium. The word used to be, if you get a new stadium, you'll get a Super Bowl. I can only think of New York getting one that was in a cold weather city without a dome. Mm-hmm. And I think Mr. Tepper makes a very good point about having a dome, retractable roofs type stadium, because he talked about having a Final Four here, because that's pretty much the Final Four now. You have to have a big venue like that. That makes a lot of sense. More concerts, more soccer, more everything. And a dome stadium or retractable roof makes that possible.
Well, I mean, you can never go wrong with a place you can control the climate. Anytime you control the climate, it's a good thing. But I don't think the dome is – because remember, before it was like the dome. You had to have a dome and have a Super Bowl.
Right.
Then New York, like you said, at MetLife Stadium, they changed that. Now I just think you need a new stadium.
I think that was an inside deal back. Basically, that's just what what I think anyway.
I mean, it could be, but I think now you have to have an inside area. Plus, remember in Dallas when it snowed, on the day of the Super Bowl in Dallas, and no one ever saw that coming. But I think everything he's saying makes perfect sense. And if you want to be a world-class city, you have to be able to do those things now. There's only 32 teams on the planet. 32 cities on the planet with a Super Bowl, with an NFL team. So your competition is already small as it is. But with Charlotte and the growth that they're trying to do and the expansion they're trying to do, I think it's definitely going to work.
I like the fact that being forward-thinking, Charlotte has mentioned there's two teams that aren't drawing flies in baseball. The Oakland A's, even though they're winning, I hate to say, and the Tampa Bay Rays, who are also winning, but no one shows up.
Still.
Charlotte could be a possible relocation. They're talking about Montreal, Portland, Oregon. You better have a lot of security if you're going to Portland, Oregon. I can just tell you that. But Charlotte seems like an ideal location. And if you have a retractable roof stadium that has potential to host baseball, at least have that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you because you're not going to build another stadium just for it, so I agree with you.
All right. Cam Newton, you were down at training camp. What do you think of Cam Newton? To me, he looks like he's real tentative. Doesn't want to. He's trying to me, I wasn't there. It looks like he's just trying not to hurt his shoulder while he's throwing.
Well, I mean, you look at it. I mean, he's human, so we gotta remember that he's trying to learn a new throwing motion, and he's had surgery on his shoulder that he has to get back comfortable, have that faith in.
Are they both tied together? Is the new motion because of the surgery?
Well, I think the new motion is more just some change they want to make with his throwing mechanics. I think, but even if it were something new, both of those together, either one of those together takes time. So when you're putting both, you combine them as one. Now you got an arm a shoulder you're not really comfortable with, and then on top of it, you're trying to throw long balls downfield with a new motion. Now you're pretend to be a golfer. You know enough about the game.
I don't pretend. I'm actually playing in Roman Gabriel's tournament Tuesday, so I don't just pretend to play golf. I do know how to play golf.
That's because I've seen you play golf. You know how to watch people play golf.
I do have some injuries every now and then, but I know guys like Ryan Robinson who plays in my group. If he can hit it 100 yards further than me, why do I need to hit?
That's true. But the thing is,
I'm for faster play. That's
right.
all.
But to get us back on track, you know yourself when you're trying to make a swing change, it takes a while, and you could be the best. You could be a Tiger Woods on the range, but when you get out on the course, when you get in a tight spot, you always refer back to your original swing.
Jamar Nesbitt said I needed a swing change.
Oh yeah, and
after he hit a house and blamed it on me, but that's another story.
But it takes a while to just get that part. So then you throw in the injury. There's a lot of things he's out trying to put together all at one time in a short amount of time. But I think it can be done. It's just going to take. Panther fans have to give him some time.
One thing he's not short on is weaponry on offense. I hope he's not short on offensive line help because last year there was a lot of lookout blocks. Guys getting beat and him getting hit and hit hard.
I may be in the majority. I may be in the minority in this, but I don't think Cam has ever been at a shortage for weapons. I don't think weapons have ever been the issue. I think that's been the excuse, but I don't think that's actually been the real reason. Because every receiver in NFL was a top-tier receiver in college. The worst receiver in NFL was one of the best receivers in college. They know how to catch footballs. I don't think it was a weapons issue, but at some point in time, you have to just say, okay, Cam, now this is you.
DJ Moore, former first-round draft pick, is getting a lot. He got a lot of accolades, really came on strong last year. Curtis Samuel was hurt a lot, but very fast. Jarius Wright, another speedster. These are all guys.
Razorback, Jarius Wright.
What?
He's an Arkansas Razorback.
Well, he was running for his life for a lot of reasons in Arkansas, but I'm saying Jarius Wright, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and you think in what's his name, McCaffrey. Those are all guys that are about the same size physically, and they're all fast. So there is weaponry, and you throw in Greg Olsen.
Right.
I think the passing game, and if you throw in the running game with McCaffrey and maybe what's Holyfield's son.
Yeah, if
another big.
roster.
He's got to make the roster,
But
but
beat Artis Payne, a lot of other guys he still got to beat.
So I think the skilled positions are there. It's just a matter if the offensive line can give Cam time, can open holes for the running game, give him time to work off play action, and give him like 3-4 seconds to make one or two reads.
Well, the thing is, if you've got that many weapons, the offensive line doesn't have to be as good because you got that many weapons. Somebody's bound to be open because now you can't double team people, you can't cheat people, you can't stack the box. If you got those kind of speedsters, they can just run. You have two guys just screaming dogs, let them run 9 routes just to keep those guys open. You have a couple guys running slots. Greg Olsen is your bailout guy, Chris McCaffrey. If all those guys are truly weapons, there's really nothing there's no defense you really can do to really stop them from getting at least 5 or 6 yards every play. If not, that's a little Wes Welker dump.
Week 1, offensive line is going to come into play because the best defensive lineman in the league, Aaron Donald, is coming in, and he's probably licking his chops thinking, who does Carolina got that's going to stop me?
And the answer to that would be nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I mean,
So they got to have a tight end on that side and a running back on that side just to slow him down. Norvell Turner knows offense, so he'll probably come up with some type of a game plan in conjunction with the offensive line coach. So I'm sure they're going to try to devise a way to try to keep Cam from being, or they call it the clean pocket, not getting him hit.
Right, but the key to that is going to be whether they got a good offensive line or not, he's got to get rid of the ball quick. He's got to get rid of the ball quick to force the defense to make adjustments.
So you're saying like that quick little out to McCaffrey, that little flare out of the backfield, or to Samuel or DJ Moore, those little inside slants could be to keep the.
That's it. I mean, think about what if you look at the Patriots, Wes Welker, Amendola, Edelman, whoever was playing that position, whichever era it
One
was.
of them's here in Carolina now.
Yeah, was always open.
Right.
So that slot's always open. So when you look at that, I mean, if you start dumping those out quick, that changes everything. Now defensive coordinators have to go, wait, okay, this is getting out too quick. I need to make an adjustment. I need to move somebody. If you got the weapons you think you do, the minute you move someone, checkmate.
You got some business coming in, and it's time for us to go to take care of some business. We're going to come back with more Carolina Panther discussions. We got to talk about the backup quarterback, Christian McCaffrey. And what about the big running back position? We touched on it briefly. We'll talk about it more. We're coming back with more Talking About Sports right after this.
It's good to see everybody back. Thank you for getting up. Cold day, early morning. It don't matter.
They'll return home this week to face an undefeated Cincinnati Bengals team.
Want a shortcut to what's going on in sports in the Carolinas? Learn from our experts and get news on your favorite team.
We're a much better team today than we were practice one, so we are improving.
And find out what your favorite athletes and coaches are saying.
They have to be able to rebound the ball. We know we've seen that this year from the way they've played throughout this season.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
This is football weather, right? This is football weather. All I know is this is the ACC championship, and we're going against Clemson.
I promise you we're going to win the ACC tournament.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolinas' #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow.
Percentages say if they've got to go 75, 80 yards every time, there's going to be a lot more field goals and a lot more punts involved as well, because defenses can make plays. The Panthers have players that can make plays.
I was locked into what I was doing today. That's what Joe always tells me, just keep doing what you're doing, and I keep doing it.
They ain't looking for the preacher. They looking for the hoe. They looking for the Instagram model.
Uh-oh.
Subscribe to ADSN today and get it all.
He seemed to be in pain.
So I was afraid he was going to go in a coma.
You've been looking for a better way to enjoy sports, and now you've got it.
Yes, Martinburg.
Right,
So if Aisha Curry want to get some props, she got to start acting trashy.
let that sink in.
But so far, so good if you're a Duke fan for the matchup with Duke and North Carolina.
Second one interception, it was probably a sack, but we had a lot fewer penalties today than we had the first day of practice.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports with William Wilson, talking Carolina Panther football. And, Cam Newton coming off the injury. We had two other quarterbacks play last year, Taylor Heineke and who's the other guy we like? Kyle Allen from Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. They drafted a guy high in the third round. Mm-hmm.
Homegrown.
Will Greer from Charlotte, one of the private schools, played at Florida, then West Virginia. Highly regarded. Big arm. Not mobile, but the prototypical, quote, pocket passer.
Exactly.
He may get some time if the offensive line lets down Cam, but Panther fans are hoping that's not the case, but they will see a lot of Will Greer in training camp and in the exhibition games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the time to do it because they're not going to carry four quarterbacks. I think Heineke's going to be the odd man out.
I think so. I like Kyle Allen, though.
I do. Kyle Allen showed me a lot. I mean, Heineke showed us some after he's healthy, too. So I think they're almost one and the same, but Kyle Allen just
he knows the playbook. He knows North Turner's offense.
Exactly. And there's a lot to be said for, local knowledge, if you will. There's a lot to be said for that. But not Will Greer, Will Greer would not only test Cam's ability but he also will trust the strength of his mind.
Do you think that opening the season, well, I mean, the preseason will determine a lot of things in practice, but who's going to open the number 2 and who will be the inactive number 3 quarterback? I think Kyle Allen will start the year as the active backup, but by midseason, if not the bye week, or maybe even after the Tampa Bay game week 2, maybe by week 3, you'll see Will Grier being number 2 with Kyle Allen being inactive number 3.
Well, Greer's definitely going to be the number 2 guy before the season's over, by
Right.
halfway. He could, if he has a really good camp and preseason, he could walk in number 2. I think Kyle Allen has earned the right to at least start off as a number 2 guy. I think he's earned that. No, but we'll just have to wait and see, because you never know. With the Panthers, you just never really know.
I still go back to the offensive line, because if Cam gets blindsided in week 1 by Aaron Donald, a lookout block, and he gets driven hard into the ground, I mean, they're going to be needing Will Grier to step in week 1. Carolina Panther fans don't want that, but you got to think that. You got to be ready, though.
No, absolutely not. You don't bring him in week 1. Why would you bring him in week 1?
No, I'm just saying if Cam can't go, he's injured due to injury.
But if Cam can't go, why do you bring in a rookie with no experience on week 1 when you've got a guy that's been on the bench for a year or 2 that's played NFL games that has shown you that he can play? Why would you bring in a rookie who his first snap, he's got to face Aaron Donald and mess around and get crushed?
Yeah.
And now you mess around. You messed up. One guy's got a bad shoulder, and the other got a bad.
That's
mindset.
why I think
you put a Chris Winkie on it.
That's why that's a good one. That's why I think to start off, unless Will Grier blows you away in the preseason, I say you start Kyle Allen as your 2, and then you work Will Grier in after the bye and later in the year.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why you do that. Will Grier should not touch the field in a regular active game unless Cam and Allen are hurt. Matter of fact, unless Cam, Allen, and if they bring back Heineke, so I think they're going to release him. So if they bring him back,
but they could maybe bring him back to the practice squad, possibly.
Yeah, Will Grier should not touch the field before week 4. Give him 3 weeks to learn the offense, learn the speed, learn the routine, know the routine of being a professional during regular season, and all that's going to get him a month of that, getting that into his system. And then introduce him if you can.
Well, you broke out Chris Winkie. I'll break out Jake Delhomme, since he'll be here after having his name put up in the stadium after halftime of the Jaguars game with Jordan Gross, Wesley Walls, and the greatest Panther of all times, according to many, Steve Smith. So maybe Jake Delhomme could step in. Maybe he can pop into practice or something like that. What do you think about Christian McCaffrey? I think we're going to hear from Christian McCaffrey, and then I got some thoughts about how he looks physically. Let's hear from Christian McCaffrey.
Why is that always the topic of conversation, man? I mean, well, you look bigger. Thank you. I mean, thank you, but yeah, no, I mean, I just trained pretty hard in the off season, and it was good to get a full off season this year, and just working really hard. I mean, I'm still growing. 23 years old, came into the league. I was pretty young and underdeveloped, so always trying to get stronger, faster, and do all the things you got to do to prepare your body to take a bunch of reps during the games.
He really is a lead by example guy, and he is a little bit of a rah-rah guy too. And as you can tell from the All or Nothing, he's a terrible joke teller. But he really is a by example guy. He works hard, he practices hard, he studies hard, and that spills over to the younger guys. I mean, we got a good group of young backs that we like.
All right, we just heard from Christian McCaffrey. You've been down at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him on the sidelines of that soccer game. That guy looks physically impressive. He is ripped.
Oh, yeah.
He's in shape.
Yeah, he picked up every weight in the gym this year multiple times, ate a lot of protein.
He said his prayers and took his vitamins, according to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he looks. How do I say this? I mean,
jacked.
He looks jacked. But he doesn't look that much more jacked than anybody else. I remember earlier in the season when they were doing OTAs, everybody's like, McCaffrey just looks like the Hulk. Where they had the picture next to the other guys on Flex Fridays.
Right.
I'm like, there are 5 guys in this picture that look far more jacked than Christian McCaffrey. There's only one thing that made Christian McCaffrey stand out from the rest of the guys in that picture, and I think we know what that is.
What are you saying, Will?
I'm just saying there's only one thing that made Christian McCaffrey stand out.
The lights brighter on him or something?
Yeah, maybe so. It was. I think Kevin Tolbert was doing some editing on him.
Right.
Give him a little Sammy Sosa treatment.
Uh-oh.
But the rest of those guys look jacked, too. I mean, you want to talk about who looks like a full-grown man. Not man, full-grown man. Evander Holyfield Jr.
Dude, he is big.
Sweet Lord have mercy.
I wouldn't mess with Senior.
No, but I'm telling you, me and Kevin saw him. He walked over with no sleeveless shirt on.
Right.
Dude, he at Evander's best, he didn't look that good. He looked like he should go around the cover of Muscle Fitness right now.
I covered a lot of the Real Deal's fights, and he was a very imposing physical.
Yeah. Now Junior isn't as big. He's not as tall, but he's a full grown man, and he got some dog in him.
Like Georgia Bulldog?
He got some true dog in him because he got into a number 52. I can't remember his name. Long-haired linebacker. They were just doing one-on-one drills. My second day down there at practice. That was, I think it was Thursday when me and Kevin went down.
Right.
No, Wednesday we went down. They're one-on-one drills. Old boy wouldn't let him go. Holyfield took his helmet. I was ready to get busy with him.
Uh-oh, you never take the helmet off, NASCAR or in football.
Hey, they took the helmets off. They was ready to they was ready to make the roster.
Go Knuckles.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you take, if you're gonna throw punches, throw the helmet off. Don't punch helmets. That's just
no. I'm not saying to punch the helmet. That's why you keep yours on, hoping the other guy's dumb enough to hit you in yours.
Yeah, but he got some dog in it. They came down ready to fight, but they just kept on. Nothing happened. They just moved on to the.
But a lot of people, from what I'm hearing, saying that Holyfield will make the roster because they need that short yardage guy. Even though Cam is bigger than everybody in the league in terms of short yardage, the 3rd and 1, the 4th and 1, a goal line kind of situation. But Holyfield is a big guy. They haven't had those big guys since the days of C.J. Anderson for a few weeks, who I was high on, and they cut him, and he goes to the Rams and has a great late season. And then Mike Tolbert, another great short yardage guy, third down back, who had good size, could get short yards.
Yeah, but what do you do at Cap? Cameron Artis-Payne. Let him go?
I'm not. I don't know. He's got to prove that he's going to make the roster. I like Cameron Artis-Payne. He's a good guy, and he's been in the NFL for several years now for a reason, because he can play.
Yeah,
but he's been inactive a lot. But I think when he's gotten opportunities, he's produced.
Right. And from a business perspective, I think Holyfield's going to cost you less money.
Absolutely.
He's younger,
rookie,
no less wear and tear on the body. Rookie, undrafted, right?
Rookies cost less than veterans.
Always. But I'm just saying, but he's not only a rookie, he's an undrafted free agent, which makes him even cheaper.
Who makes more money, Denny Hamlin or Eric Jones at Joe Gibbs Racing?
Oh, Denny, of course.
There you go. So you're going with the same philosophy in football. You take the younger guy. You take Holyfield over Cameron Artis-Payne.
But Junior walked in making more money than a lot of champions came in.
Wow.
So you can't necessarily look at that. All I'm just saying is, if I'm the Panthers, I'm looking for the future. I bring in Holyfield.
I like him.
Minimum practice squad, but I bring him in as like my third running back, maybe.
You may want to start him off the practice squad. Like you can put Taylor Heineke on there as well, and then that way you can keep development of guys. But by the midseason, it's a long season. Will injuries happen?
Oh yeah.
So not everybody can go down to Cabo and train and be healthy. I don't know. I think that a lot of things happen, but that's just on the offensive side of the ball. What are we going to defense now? We're going to go to a break. All right, we're going to come back. We'll talk defense now. Next, front seven, Carolina's is arguably as good as anybody in the league. Coming back with more, talking about sports right after this.
It's good to see everybody back. Thank you for getting up. Cold day, early morning. It don't matter.
They'll return home this week to face an undefeated Cincinnati Bengals team.
Want a shortcut to what's going on in sports in the Carolinas? Learn from our experts and get news on your favorite team.
We're a much better team today than we were practice 1, so we are improving.
And find out what your favorite athletes and coaches are saying.
They have to be able to rebound the ball. We know we've seen that this year from the way they've played throughout this season.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
This is football weather, right? This is football weather. All I know is this is the ACC championship, and we're going against Clemson.
I promise you we're going to win the ACC tournament.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolinas' #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. Percentages say if they've got to go 75, 80 yards every time, there's going to be a lot more field goals and a lot more punts involved as well, because defenses can make plays. The Panthers have players that can make plays.
I was locked into what I was doing today. That's what Joe always tells me, just keep doing what you're doing. And I keep doing it.
They ain't looking for the preacher. They looking for the hoe. They looking for the Instagram model.
Uh-oh.
Subscribe to ADSN today and get it all.
He seemed to be in pain.
So I was afraid he was going to go in a coma.
You've been looking for a better way to enjoy sports, and now you've got it.
Yes, Martin Burr.
Right,
So if Aisha Curry want to get some props, she got to start acting trashy.
let that sink in.
But so far, so good if you're a Duke fan for the matchup with Duke and North Carolina.
Second one interception. It was probably a sack, but we had a lot fewer penalties today than we had the first day of practice.
Bermuda Run and Bermuda Run West. All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. William Wilson. I'm Kevin Casey. The Carolina Panthers, their front seven. Their defense, I think, is their strength.
Absolutely.
You think, obviously, well, Cam Newton, we talked about their great receiving core, but I look at that defense. They're transitioning from a 4-3 to a multi-front, primarily 3-4, but they have flexibility to go 4-3, be 3-4, and it's situational. They can blitz outside linebackers or bring guys like Luke Kuechly in the middle who a little bit nicked up a little bit, but I like this Brian Burns guy. We'll get to him later, but I do like him as an outside linebacker. They brought in Bruce Irvin, who went to West Virginia, played for the Seahawks and the Raiders. I like this. I like the flexibility. I'm not so much a 3-4 guy, but I like the flexibility that this multi-front defense that Ron Rivera ran in San Diego.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. Anytime you can effectively do multi-dimensional effectively, not have two of them, but one of them be really, really good and one not be so good. If you can do them effectively, where it's interchange between the two, where you can just scramble on the audit, you put three guys put 3 fingers in the dirt, and then they just stand up. Next thing you know, they shift over, and you can do that and effectively make that work. That's scary for an offense, especially with the Addison,
Mario Addison, Gerald McCoy,
KK Short.
Oh, he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, you look at these guys.
How about Don Terry Poe playing the true nose tackle?
Exactly.
Nose guard. He's a large man.
Exactly.
He's no short of 350.
Yeah, then you're talking about Burns, 6'5", 240.
Oh.
And 6'5", 240 is a linebacker.
And fast.
So he's fast. Luke's not fast, he's got speed. There's a difference.
He can guard any tight end in the league, I can tell you that.
Exactly, because Luke's smart, he knows how to run angles. You put those guys together, along with the speedsters like you got with Dante Jackson, these guys, they can be a force to reckon with.
I like Dante Jackson. He called himself, gave himself a kind of a nickname, almost like he's a pit bull or something like that.
Yeah, but never give yourself a nickname.
Well, I don't know if he did himself, or maybe he said other people did, but I don't know. I like him anyway.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd really like the front four, like you pointed out. Addison is not a big. He's a defensive end in a 4-3, but he's a lean guy. And he's a fast guy. He could possibly give you some snaps at outside linebacker. I think he's smaller than Bruce Irvin, so I think they both could play on that one side. Yeah. And then you got Short, and look at a 6-time Pro Bowler and Gerald McCoy.
Like I said, there's some dogs up front. This some guys putting their finger. McCoy gives them that toughness. That's that mean, that deep down-hearted anger.
Gravitas. Everybody in the league knows Gerald McCoy. Mm-hmm. So he's going to command a lot of attention when other teams, the offensive coordinators are going to game plan. Well, we got KK Short. He's a Pro Bowler. Well, what are you going to do? You got the gas chamber or a firing squad? Take your pick. You got KK Short or Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, or lethal injection, because you still got, you got, I can't remember his name, Addison.
Mario Addison, who had like 10 sacks. Yeah. Double-digit sacks the last couple of years.
So you put all those together, and then, like you said, Poe, I dare you to double team one of these guys.
Oh.
Because you double team, now Luke is coming, Burns is coming. You may run a safety blitz. Trey Boston may come get you.
Oh, we're going to get to Trey. I like Trey Boston.
The Panthers got all the weapons in the world to do what they need to do.
Shaq Thompson, another speed guy.
Yeah, think about it.
He's fast and big.
Think about it. The defense is so good, we forgot to mention Shaq Thompson. What does that tell you?
He's in line for an extension, and mark it down. He is going to have a good year because, number one, he's got a lot of money riding on it. He's a former first-round draft pick, and they want – I mean, say what you want, and I disagree with it, and I think you did too. For what Thomas Davis got for the Chargers, I think he could have played here for that same amount of money and would have played here for that same amount of money, and he would have only made a good defense even better with Shaq Thompson, Luke Kuechly, Burns, and Irvin and Mario Addison.
I totally agree with you. I completely agree with you. Thomas. I'm always in this because 15 years in the league, but but he's still playing at a high level. You know, but at some point you got to start looking towards the future. But where do you do it with a guy who's so good? Now, if he's your average kind of guy, that's one thing. But TD's going to have a great year in San Diego.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hate to see him in at number 58 in another uniform.
It's awful.
But, you know, it is what it is. Big shout out to Michael Williams Sr. checked in. Eric Brennan checked in. Of course, my boy Kevin Porter.
Where's he been?
Back in again. No, ain't where they been. It's where we been.
Oh,
We've been on air in a month.
By the way, seeing TD in a Charger uniform is almost like seeing Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals uniform.
Yeah, or Jerry Rice in a Chiefs uniform.
Well, he played in a lot of them. Jerry Rice did.
But when you see, but Jerry just belongs in the 49ers uniform. So, but I totally agree with you. Seeing TD in anything other than Panthers.
We were out in the parking lot here talking to Muhsin Muhammad, and he told us what was going on about the salary and everything. But and he's right. What can we say?
You got all that money for nothing.
He's got a lot of money, and I wish I had some of it. But you mentioned the safety core. How about Trey Boston? I think a very underrated signing. He's been here. He was a draft pick at Carolina, and he's played in college in this area. When UNC, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And he knows, and he's familiar with Coach Rivera.
Oh yeah,
and so he knows the system.
Just had a baby.
Oh yeah, well, congratulations to Trey. Always well dressed.
Well, you know, he's wearing William Wilson, so you know how that works out.
I wouldn't know, but I'm hoping to know.
Yep, you set it up, and I knocked it on down.
I know. I'm hoping to know.
Here's funny. Kevin said TD lost a step. He was running a 4.3.
So was he on a 4.4 now?
So he runs a 4.4, 4.5. He's still one of the fastest guys in the league.
Who said that?
Kevin Porter.
Oh, well.
You know, he missed us for a while, so maybe he needs to say something controversial so we show him some love.
Tell Kevin Porter to show up. Tell Kevin Porter to come here right now. Yeah. Where is he?
But leave his card with the waitress when he makes the order, though.
Yeah, well, remember, mention you brought that up and not me, all right?
Yeah, I brought that one up.
I like that. Now,
we made rib cabin in a while, so we had to get him.
You don't like our corners. I like Dante Jackson. Bradbury? You don't think Bradbury is a scary guy? I think he's a solid guy. I don't see him getting beat every week and roasted.
I'm not saying, but there's a difference between solid and scary. There's a difference between being solid, people being scared of you. But I tell you, he got burned a few times. But a couple of those guys got burned this week. And I saw Cam get picked off twice in practice on Wednesday. And Bradbury was one of them. Mm-hmm. Bradbury got one. I think Jackson got the other. So it's not about – the thing is, like I said, because I do travel a lot and talk with a lot of guys about, you know, football. We talk football, all the Panthers and everything, obviously. But no one's saying – man, at Bradbury, they talk about Luke. They talk about Cam, normally his address. They talk about Greg Olsen. They talk about the front four. They talk about TD. They talk about the linebackers. They didn't say anything good or bad about the secondary, but it was always pretty much a common statement. The Panthers secondary are their weakness in the defense.
So you're out in Hollywood with George Lopez and DL Hughley. They're talking about all those guys, or
me and DL played golf.
Where'd y'all go? Was that the one you at Duke?
Yeah, we played at Duke's golf course last Sunday. The Panthers secondary never came up, and then we played golf for 4 hours.
How come you didn't call me?
Because we were playing golf.
Man.
We didn't want to disrespect their course by putting you out there on it.
I should talk some trash, but speaking of which, thanks a lot, pal. And mark it down. Before, like 5 minutes ago, you were agreeing with me, but
hey, you asked me.
All right, Dante Jackson or Trey Boston, who runs more smack?
Oh,
because you were there. I mean, and you're good friends with Trey Boston.
They both talk equal smack.
Equal.
I'll tell you something else. We got a Chair Force veteran in the house.
Oh, who?
A Chair Force veteran. Homeless Jay has entered the building. Bald head and beard and everything. Homeless Jay is with his 5 Twitter followers that he said on my post. He is in the house, Florida State's own Homeless Jay. So we'll see him in a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Jay Sutton. He's in the timeline here.
Feel the love. Feel the love. How about this? I think the secondary – the thing is, with a good front seven that we just talked about, the safeties and the corners don't have to do much. They don't have to work very long.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, no, anytime you got a great front seven, it allows you to have a mediocre, back three. And the Panthers don't have a mediocre secondary. Their secondary is not mediocre by any stretch of the imagination. And I love having Trey Boston back because Trey is energy. He is a ball of energy. And he was there when they were Thieves Avenue.
I remember that.
He was one. He was like
Josh Norman and Captain Munnerlin.
Yeah, he's Kurt Coleman.
Kurt Coleman.
He was probably like the co-captain of Thieves Avenue. So bringing that back, he can go in that locker room and say, "Dog, I used to play right here. This was my locker. This is how we got down. We can go back and do this." Because they had a mean front seven.
Always help me out post game, helping me with some interviews. So I always appreciate that.
I told him when we go to Fan Fest tonight, I said, "Hey,
you going?"
Yeah, well, I'm doing some interviews, doing fan interviews.
You working?
Like
Did your training camp stuff? You
yeah.
working? Good.
Yeah, Kevin got me back working. I was on a payroll, but
you wear some W's gear?
Well, of course, yes.
All right.
But I will work for Crystal Burgers.
I would. I'll be glad to wear some W gear at my golf tournament this week.
Well, you should have told me that like a couple of weeks ago. You and I are a little bit different in size.
Well, yeah, I'm a little bit more widely regarded. You're more Denny Hamlin. I'm more Jimmy Spencer these days. What about break? All right, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about head coach Ron Rivera and the division. I think it's a very tough division. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. This is Talking About Sports.
Well, it's good to see everybody back. Thank you for getting up. Cold day, early morning, it don't matter.
They'll return home this week to face an undefeated Cincinnati Bengals team.
Want a shortcut to what's going on in sports in the Carolinas? Learn from our experts and get news on your favorite team.
We're a much better team today than we were practice one, so we are improving.
And find out what your favorite athletes and coaches are saying.
They have to be able to rebound the ball. We know we've seen that this year from the way they've played throughout this season.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
This is football weather, right? This is football weather. All I know is this is the ACC championship, and we're going against Clemson.
I promise you we're going to win the ACC tournament.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolinas' #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker for No Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. Percentages say if they've got to go 75, 80 yards every time, there's going to be a lot more field goals and a lot more punts involved as well, because defenses can make plays. The Panthers have players that can make plays.
I was locked into what I was doing today. That's what Joe always tells me, just keep doing what you're doing, and I kept doing it.
They ain't looking for the preacher. They looking for the hoe. They looking for the Instagram model.
Uh-oh.
Subscribe to ADSN today and get it all.
He seemed to be in pain.
So I was afraid he was going to go in a coma.
You've been looking for a better way to enjoy sports, and now you've got it.
Yes, Spartanburg!
Right,
So if Aisha Curry want to get some props, she got to start acting trashy.
Let that sink in.
But so far, so good if you're a Duke fan for the matchup with Duke and North Carolina.
Second one interception, it was probably a sack, but we had a lot fewer penalties today than we had the first day of practice.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. Kevin Casey, William Wilson, and Homeless Jay. You do take care of it, Will.
This is my boy Jay Sutton. I met him opening day at camp. He hung out with us. No, he's like a little lost puppy, didn't know what to do. So, and I was pretty much too. So Kevin Tolbert kind of took us under his wing and showed us the ropes.
My mentor.
Yeah. His mentor. Kevin is his mentor, not
yours
mine.
too, right?
No. I'm trying to teach Kevin about social media. But we call him Homeless Jake. He's stuck down in Wofford for the entire part of camp. So I started calling him Homeless Jay. He made Kevin Tolbert his professional photographer, though. Every time he turned around, hey, Kev, get a picture of us doing this. Kev, let me hold that mic, take a picture of it like I'm doing some work.
On the job training with ADSN.
That's a good man. That's a good man.
Ron Rivera, you think, first of all, the NFC South is tough. The Saints are good. And a good quarterback in Drew Brees, and the highest paid receiver in the NFL right now in Michael Thomas.
Boy,
that's until Julio Jones gets his contract.
Julio Jones just got a lot more expensive.
Right, exactly. And Matt Ryan, another MVP in the division. So the division is tough, and an improving with Bruce Arians' Tampa Bay ball club.
I'll tell you, Bruce Arians makes Tampa Bay scary.
Is our man Buck down at Tampa Bay?
I think Buck's with the Raiders now.
Okay, well, anyway, it's a tough division. I think arguably the toughest division in all of football, at least in terms of parity.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to does Ron Rivera feel any with a new owner? Does he feel any heat with his job?
I think Ron's got to feel heat because when you look at all the factors we talked about earlier. The defense is tough. We got one of the best defenses in the league this year.
You fired a coordinator last year.
Yeah, so you're looking at this. All the weapons you brought in around Cam. Your running back core is going to be tight. So you look at it. Cam's got no excuse. Well, Cam got a little bit of excuse because he got the shoulder. So that'll buy him 5 games. They'll buy him 5 games leeway. Then the fans will be like, well, if he's still hurt, get him out the way and bring in Will Greer. That's the problem you get with bringing in a guy who's from the hometown there. So he's already a fan favorite. So that in of itself is going to cause some pressure. So I think Ron will be on the chopping block. Plus they're talking about building a new stadium, all these types of things. Sometimes people want to start a whole new environment with all new personnel. So that could put him in a rough spot.
Jay, what do you think, Ron Rivera, does he need to win 10 to keep his job?
I don't know about 10, but I definitely agree with y'all that he's on the hot seat. He has to get it done. They're trying a new defense out this year. Y'all didn't mention that.
Yeah, we did.
You did? The hybrid defense?
Yeah, we're on the lead lap. You're laughing.
I like the NASCAR analogy there. I like that.
Wow, you're in the right place.
But yeah, so at a certain point, it's going to come down to, you tried everything else. I got all the personnel you need, so it's on you. So I definitely think they need to make the playoffs this year.
Exactly. He said, I got you all the best, freshest ingredients, homegrown, local, no GMO, no nothing. Cook, fool. Cook me some dinner.
Yeah.
I think, conversely, Marty Herney, he's the guy that acquired all that talent. I mean, you're getting all these guys, and if there are no injuries and you're not playing, then, changes got to be made.
Hey, if the guys aren't playing, Marty Herney brought in, and I've never been one to mince my words. When Marty does well, I call it. When he does bad, I've called it. He's made a lot of bad moves. I think this is probably one of his best overall off seasons I've seen Marty Herney do.
I agree.
From top to bottom, from the guys he drafted, from the free agents he brought in, the guys he lost, who replaced him with. If you look at it, there's no contract we look at and go, wow, who signed this why did we sign this stupid contract?
Yeah.
No one has said that all offseason. No one is complaining about the contract these guys under.
No Jonathan Stewart's.
What's the other John linebacker? John Beeson's.
Beeson, yeah.
Charles Johnson, Jake Delhomme. None of these contracts we look and go, what was he thinking? Who does he have picture of naked with goats that blackmailed him into taking these pictures?
With
what
now?
This contract, naked with goats. Because some of these contracts, I'm like, you got a picture
of
him doing something, he got nothing.
There?
He's got pictures of him doing something with somebody. There's no rational reason to sign. When you sign Jake Blake to 6 years, $42 million, we were like, really?
Yeah.
Like, where they do that at?
He's
Arkansas.
definitely done a lot better this second time around.
Did a great job this year. Hats off to Marty Herney on this one.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Dave Gettleman as GM too, but I never had an issue with Marty Herney. I didn't really agree with the Jonathan Stewart contract, but that's neither here nor there. I think to both your points, I think a good offseason for the Panthers. We discussed Thomas Davis. I didn't agree with that. Ryan Khalil comes out of retirement.
That was a shocker.
Going to the New York Jets of all places, playing on turf.
That was a shocker.
Maybe I know he's going in the entertainment industry, and maybe New York is a good place for him. I figured he'd go to like the Chargers or something like that.
I think
the
he
Rams.
just stayed out of football and just been done. You got millions of dollars. You want to get entertainment, you got millions of dollars.
As someone with money, you should know that there's nothing wrong with more money.
I know he's talking to you, not me, Will.
I ain't got money. I just play like I do on TV. But
you do a good job.
But here's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to know when to say when. If you're going to retire.
Yeah, I tell you when to say when teams will stop when they're not willing to pay you. If they're willing to pay you, it's not when.
All right, so when you mess around and like, okay, I'm going to come back one more year. I'm going to get a couple more million, and you jam your neck. You do something like you can't get out of bed in the morning. And when you could have walked around unscathed, been done. Jordan, Game 7, last second, buzzer beater. Every kid has ever played backyard ball, dreamed of their last shot being a Game 7 buzzer beater or a Game 6 buzzer beater to win a championship.
He also came back, by the way.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm talking. He came back in that 45 and looked ridiculous.
Who do you think is going to win the division? We say Carolina's going to make the playoffs. I think you could have 3 teams in this division make the playoffs. It's happened before. It's going to be hard. I think 10 wins get you to the playoffs. It may not win the division, though. I mean, to me, the Saints are the team to beat, but Atlanta is very good.
I need to see the schedules. I would like to see the schedules. Oh, you have it?
I got Carolina's schedule.
Let me.
But
So you talking about sports? We talking about rosters. We talking about schedule. We got it all.
Right. So I like until there's an expression, Will, you've heard, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and the Saints are the man.
They are right now.
And they got Michael Thomas and Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara, I believe, the running back.
But I just think that the only problem you got now I'm skeptical to make any kind of decision because we're one breaking news report from everything changing. Breaking news: so and so tears the ACL. Breaking news: so and so tears their shoulders. Breaking news.
So who do you like?
That changes everything.
Until someone beats the Saints, I like the Saints, but I would not be surprised if Atlanta or Carolina wins that division. And you always just say, win your home games and split on the road, and you're fine. You win your home game, split on the road, and if you win your home division games, it makes maybe losing a division game on the road okay.
Yeah, but I think Atlanta's, for some reason, I just feel Atlanta's going to be the team to beat.
I think you got to win you hope to sweep Tampa Bay. You beat the Saints in Atlanta here, and you don't mind losing to them in their place.
Well, looking at the schedule, I think this is a very favorable schedule. I think we got a shot to come out of the NFC South. I really do. And you mentioned the Saints. We know that the NFC South is an up-and-down division.
Right.
And they won it, 2 years in a row now?
Yep.
This could be the year, just based off of that alone, where someone else comes in and take it. And it looked like it could be us, man. You never know.
Up until
Carolina.
Carolina.
Speaking of which, he says us because he's from Kinston,
North Carolina.
Dude, that's some good barbecue in Kinston now. That's some good Eastern-style North Carolina right there, man. Oh, that's some good vinegar-based sauce out there, man.
I know when fans call in, the 3 fans that listen call in and start talking about, what you talking about? Why did you jump on the bandwagon?
I'm not I'm neutral when I'm reporting.
But I'm not talking about you. The world ain't all about you.
I know, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not reporting right now. I'm just a guest, so I can be biased.
I'm just saying. I like that. By the way, I love Wilbur's, Parker's, good Scott Barbecue.
This
I love.
Man knows his stuff.
Oh, I do, man.
Does he look like he missed that many meals? He's a professional. He's a former professional wrestler.
Will, I went to my rheumatologist, Dr. Gordon Lamb, Northeast Rheumatology. Thank you very much. Said compared to a year ago, I lost 17 pounds. So,
hey,
my man,
that's what's up, man.
We got to keep him around so we can talk trash to each other.
I know.
That's what we do.
But I need to get some of that North Carolina Eastern style barbecue.
There you
believe
go.
me. So you're going Saints? I'm going Saints unless. But I'm not surprised if Carolina or Atlanta wins.
I'm going Carolina. Carolina. Yeah.
All right, Will, who you got?
Depending upon Cam Newton's health. If he's healthy, I'm going Carolina.
All right.
I'm still going Saints right now. I'm still going Saints because there's too many ifs. There's way too many ifs, and that if can shift on a dime.
12 wins is first place, 11 is second, 10 is third place, no matter what the lineup is. I think it's going to be that close.
Would y'all like me to go through this game by game, or have y'all already done it?
Did we ask you to?
I'm just saying.
Did we say go through it game by game with us?
Will
Homeless Jay.
We missed. We're missing Catman.
Yeah.
And his son, Catman. I'm gonna dub him Catman Jr. But you can't be. He's gonna take over the whole getup, the whole gimmick. He's gonna be the new Catman.
It's not the same, man.
Well, I'm just saying you have to be Catman Jr. for a year until you get that in the books. Then we'll discuss it at the end of the year. Are you going to give him Catman if Carolina wins the division?
I'll give
him that.
I give no one Catman. Catman is Catman. Catman Jr. can be great at whatever he is, but that's like the black guy used to be the cowboy at the Cowboys games. You know,
I never liked that guy.
I'm
anyway.
confused. What's Catman? Maybe I've been in Florida too long.
He's the black guy. He's a fan.
Where's the blue hair?
The Panthers fan?
Yeah.
What about him?
He died.
Oh, he died?
He died a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
May he rest in peace.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
So his son is taking over his shtick.
His persona, his gimmick.
Yeah, but I think there's certain things that you just can't replace. You can't replace Catman. No, you can't replace the Dallas Cowboy guy.
I wish they would.
You can't replace.
Now the Redskin, our Chief Z, our guy, Chief Z died in the offseason. A Redskin guy. Chief Z, he's a Native American guy, but a little darker Native American, but he's still from around somewhere.
May he rest in peace too.
That's right.
Because aside from football, that's somebody loved that man.
I know. We all did. All Redskin fans love Chief Z.
That's somebody's son, somebody's dad, whatever. So rest in peace, Chief Z.
Chief Z used to beat up that guy, that cowboy guy, that fake cowboy guy.
Not on the field, he didn't.
All right. We're going to come
5
back with
against
more
3.
Talk about sports right after this.
It's good to see everybody back. Thank you for getting up. Cold day, early morning. It don't matter.
They'll return home this week to face an undefeated Cincinnati Bengals team.
Want a shortcut to what's going on in sports in the Carolinas? Learn from our experts and get news on your favorite team.
We're a much better team today than we were practice one, so we are improving.
And find out what your favorite athletes and coaches are saying.
They have to be able to rebound the ball. We know we've seen that this year from the way they've played throughout this season.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
This is football weather, right? This is football weather. So all I know is this is the ACC championship, and we're going against Clemson.
I promise you we're going to win the ACC tournament.
Subscribe to ADSN today.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolinas' #1 podcast for sports.
You might say trade Kemba Walker for No Leasy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get the playing time.
Wow. Percentages say if they've got to go 75, 80 yards every time, there's going to be a lot more field goals and a lot more punts involved as well, because defenses can make plays. The Panthers have players that can make plays.
I was locked into what I was doing today. That's what Joe always tells me, just keep doing what you're doing, and I kept doing it.
They ain't looking for the preacher. They looking for the hoe. They looking for the Instagram model.
Uh-oh.
Subscribe to ADSN today and get it all.
He seemed to be in pain.
So I was afraid he was going to go in a coma.
You've been looking for a better way to enjoy sports, and now you've got it.
Yes, Spartanburg!
Right,
So if Aisha Curry want to get some props, she got to start acting trashy.
Let that sink in.
But so far, so good if you're a Duke fan for the matchup with Duke and North Carolina.
Second one interception, it was probably a sack, but we had a lot fewer penalties today than we had the first day of practice.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. William Wilson behind the wall temporarily. He's going to have to get your lap back. You have to wait for...
I had already lapped all you guys. I had
yeah, right. Jay, what do you think? Let's go through this game. I think Carolina, the toughest game on the schedule is the Rams. It's always the next game, so I think it's the Rams. After that Rams game, I don't think you're going to get tested. Will likes Tampa Bay coming up.
I didn't say I like them. I'm just saying... Bruce Arians is one of those X factors you just don't know.
Jay, what do you think? I think they could be undefeated going into November 10th at Green Bay.
Yeah, it's very possible, but they could also start the season. It's very possible that they could start the season with an L, with a loss at with the Rams coming into town.
Right.
Aaron Donald and them are coming into town, so
no joke, man.
But they could easily start the season 1-5 with no problem.
Exactly.
Tampa Bay. I know you're high on Tampa Bay, but it's Tampa Bay.
Well, I'm not high. I'm just saying Bruce Arians brings
He's a good coach.
Yeah, it's a new system, new everything. Sometimes you just need that new injection of something, and guys can ride that high for 3 or 4 games. And they may draw right back down, but you're one of those 3 or 4 games that they could be riding that high.
I'm saying 1-5 to start the season. That's my prediction.
5-1?
Oh, yeah, 5-1.
Okay,
sorry. Yeah,
5-1.
But he said it could be 1-5.
Nah, 5-1. 5-1. What do y'all think?
Loss. I give them the first 2 wins. First 5 games.
I say they're no worse than 6-2.
Wait, are we doing 5 games? We doing 8 games?
No, I just went up to this.
6-2.
I thought we were doing 5.
Okay, 5 games. Okay, we'll do. Let's go to the end of October. How about that? I think only 1 loss.
So 8 games.
8 games. First 8, I got them 7-1.
I say 7-1. I agree.
At worst.
I go at best 6-2.
Now, a lot could depend with Houston. There's reports that they could be making a trade for Trent Williams of the Redskins, who's disgruntled. And Houston has a desperate need for a left tackle. And who's our guy? Deshaun Watson would love to have a left tackle instead of getting knocked around all year.
But you know what? We can't just write off Jacksonville. We can't just write it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying 6-2 at best. I'm thinking more reasonably 5-3.
Nick Foles, they got a new quarterback. Who's the guy? Their DB came in and showed up to camp in a Brinks truck.
Jalen Ramsey, Florida State.
That's something you'd like. You'd like that, don't you, Will?
He learned from Will.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. That
wasn't one of those Wells Fargo, Loomis Fargo things that got looted in Gastonia. What do you think about this year about the most important thing that Carolina should have? Is it just playoffs?
Spit it out, Kevin. You got us lost.
No, I'm just saying, is it just playoffs or is it making the Super Bowl?
What's more important?
Yeah. I mean, what's your fans look for?
I say you got to start with the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to go playoffs.
Let's start with the playoffs.
Yeah, you don't lose like what 80 the last 8 games or your last how many games.
Yeah.
Have a quarterback, your starting quarterback have a shoulder surgery, severe shoulder surgery, and think you'll go to the playoffs the next year when you didn't go to Super Bowl. When you didn't go to the Super Bowl when he was completely healthy and your team was better.
Yeah.
That's just insane. You got to think playoffs.
Let's start with the playoffs and go from there.
The William Wilson wings. We got some steak nachos. Thai chili wings. What we got? Hey.
He's looking for something else, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
Monkey Badger beer cheese pretzel. There we go. Right on.
Yeah, see, that's Kevin.
That's my gimmick. There you go. Love that.
See, that's Kevin. The wings are always me, and then we just.
We're good. So
I'm about to order something in about 4 minutes.
You're working with 4
Why you
minutes?
gonna order? We got food right here.
Huh?
We got food right
All right,
here.
4 minutes.
That ain't enough.
We do something called last call or your final thought. Anything in sports? Hopefully Panthers. What do you got? What are you thinking about?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Could you please
Our
repeat
last call. It's like something we do, which are something in the sports world or life in general. One quick thought you have about life or sports.
that? Life or sports?
Right.
Well, since I'm in Carolina and I haven't been here for a while, so I keep mine with Carolina, and I'll say that DJ Moore will be a top 5 receiver next year.
So you can make the Pro Bowl?
DJ Moore will make a Pro Bowl next year. You heard it here first.
Next season. So I mean, as far as the season
this upcoming season. Yes, this upcoming season. DJ Moore will
What do
make
you
a
got,
Pro Bowl.
Will?
Well, since we haven't done a show in a while, I'm gonna finally get some shouts out. I can finally give a shout to my boy Kurt Busch for finally getting that win. We were texting each other the next day talking about it and everything, but we had to add the show. So now I can on air officially say my boy is in the playoffs, good to go, and the championship hunt continues.
He's been in the top 10 all year. And he got, I think, that one race they took from him by throwing that red flag.
Yeah, he should have had 2 wins, but they bounced back the very next week.
I saw a piece with who's the guy from driving the 43, Bubba
Wallace.
They're talking about improvements to the Roval. I'm looking forward to that one too.
I can't wait for the Roval.
And you got a winner's jacket coming for that, right?
Oh yeah, I already started it.
Right,
I did it last year.
Up and down, final call from me. I want to say rest in peace, Harley Race, one of the greatest world champions of all time, 8-time world champions, one of the toughest men in or out of the ring. Rest in peace, Harley Race. And I want to say congratulations to my son, Adam Casey, and his girlfriend, Jasmine, on the birth of Elida Ray, my second grandchild. So love that.
Congratulations.
Elida Ray, very healthy. And my Zayden Collin, my grandson from September, I call El Jolino. Zayden Collin, love him, so he's great.
I don't even know what that means, but I know
it's good.
We got Fan Fest coming up.
You're working that.
I'll be working that. So the 3 of you guys that are watching the show, come on out there, say hello to me, Kev, and Homeless Jay. He'll sign an autograph, take a picture.
And follow me.
He'll probably follow you home.
We used to do Polaroids. We used to do those Polaroids for $5 back in our wrestling days.
There you go.
They used to spit them out. Remember those?
They're going to shake them and let them blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, come on out to Fan Fest, have a good time. ADSN will be in the building. We're going to be out we'll be interviewing fans, interviewing players. Come on out. It's going to have a ball. It's what 6 o'clock, Kev? 6?
7 o'clock.
Starts at 7. So come on out there, have a good time. But watch that traffic, going to be crazy. Huh?
Good seats still available.
He said tickets still available. Good seats still available. Tickets are still left.
It's kind of like the backstretch in a NASCAR race.
Follow me on Twitter at
Kevin
This Is Jay
Tolbert,
Sutton.
Homeless
Thank
Jay,
you.
William Wilson. I'm Kevin Casey. This has been Talking About
Go
the
Hogs.
So
Woo
long
Pig.
for now.
Woo Pig.